Hi class, today we are going to talk about viral structure. We'll talk about what is the structure and the function of the virus. What does the virus look like? What is the typical shape? What is the size? What does it have inside of it? Okay, so now we're getting into the structure of viruses. Again, they are elementary structures and they have a protein coat on the outside, which we call capsid, and have a central core, either DNA or RNA. Where we are going is that we will look at the outside, first the protein, and then go on the inside, DNA and RNA. Alright, so the first thing is the capsid, that is the proteins. Essentially, they make up the solid structure on the outside of the virus. The capsid, along with the nucleic acid, is called the nucleocapsid. That is the whole structure of the virus. Depending on what kind of nucleic acid it is either considered DNA virus or RNA virus. Each capsid is made of identical protein subunit called capsomere. Another interesting protein structure is called spike, that is considered as a key binding to cells. Once it has the correct key, these keys will open up and allow the virus in. Most viruses have spikes. Either spike is a protein sticking right from the capsid or sometimes associated with the envelope that protrudes outside the virus. Typically, we have two shapes of virus. We have the helical virus, which capsomere wrap around to make a helical shape or rod shape. This is typically what you see with the rabies virus. So this gives you an idea of the shape it makes. A long structure the nucleic acid sit on the inside gets wrapped around by this capsid. The more typical type of virus is icosahedral, which is the 20-sided virus with 12 corners. Typically, the virus that we see are icosahedral. We will talk more about those as we go along. So the next thing, viruses can be naked, meaning they have no envelope on the outside or membrane, or enveloped. Well, some viruses do and get the membrane from the host cell that they infected. When they leave the host, they take a little piece with them as their coat. We call this an envelope that seals the virus in, protects them, and allows them to leave the host cell. Those with a membrane on the outside are the enveloped virus, so you can see what it has, the membrane and the spikes. A naked virus does not have a membrane around it, so naked versus enveloped are the two general structure of the viruses. Now, what do capsid and envelope do? Capsid protects the nucleic acid on the inside. Envelope helps the virus bind to cell surface and assists the penetration of viral DNA or RNA into a suitable host cell. Now, you need to know there are two types. There is a naked with no envelope and those that do have a membrane or the envelope virus. And then we have some complex viruses. The complex virus has more than just the envelope and the capsid. The pox virus have different parts. They have nucleic acid, outer envelope, inner envelope, and some other things on the inside. The bacteriophages have polyhedral nucleocapsid, tail fiber, and an injection port where it looks a syringe. So these are some more structures than the typical virus. Alright, so here's some of the different type of viruses. Again, we've talked about this, the enveloped viruses, the non-enveloped virus, or naked virus, like rod shape or icosahedral. Besides, some viruses, particularly bacterial viruses, have atypical structures and are called complex viruses. Concept check. How would you describe this virus? I'll give you a minute to think about this. Okay, if you came up with helical and enveloped, you did a good job. Now we want to get into what is on the inside of the virus. either DNA or RNA, they have one of the two types of nucleic acid. They either had the DNA, which is double-stranded most of the time, and typically either circular or linear, depending on the size and different type of structures. The DNA viruses include herpes, smallpox, hepatitis B, which are the typical DNA virus. The other type of viruses are the RNA viruses. Typically, those are single-stranded, either positive-stranded or negative-stranded. Sometimes you might see a double-stranded. They might be segmented into separate RNA pieces. The RNA viruses include influenza, HIV, measles, Zika, coronavirus, and polio, which are the typical RNA viruses. Alright, we have not talked about this yet, but the general structure with these things inside. Some of these guys do have some enzymes associated with them. They do not do any ATP, but they carry them because they need them inside the cell. Polymerase catalyzes the synthesis of the DNA or RNA. Replicases catalyzes the synthesis of copy RNA. The reverse transcriptase allows HIV to convert its RNA genome to DNA and allow it to integrate into the host. Alright, so how are they classified? Typically, the primary classification is based on genetic makeup. This is recognized into 3 different orders, 63 different families, and there are about 263 different genera of viruses. This contains all the viruses out there. Typically, the family ends Viridae, so you will see it like herpes viridae, which is the family of the virus that are incorporated. Many times, genus name end in virus, like simplex virus. So when we talk about herpes, this is herpes simplex virus 1, HSV1, and we have many other viruses out there. Alright, concept check. Viruses contain both DNA and RNA. Is that true or false? If the answer is false, you are correct.